Welcome, everybody, to another wonderful episode of the OIC podcast. On Omnipresent Information Connection, we talk a lot about authenticity, so we're bringing you another authenticated episode on the topic of authentic education. We've already talked about authentic love, we've already talked about authentic intentions, and so authentic education is the third authentic episode that we're bringing you today on that topic.
Yeah, no, and I'm really excited because this gives the listeners and viewers the chance to be able to authentically understand the power of education and the proper way to be able to be educated.
Yeah, we've already talked about in our last episode political agendas, scripted messages, and authentic messages. So when you're receiving a message, that is in some way, shape, or form a form of education, whether it is, it's something you're consuming, is what we talked about in the last episode. So when we consume something, that becomes essentially who we are as a person in some small form.
Absolutely, because information is power or 100% disempowering,
right?
Depending on where you get the source of the information from.
Yeah, so that's why I'm bringing that up, is because when we are educating ourselves, we can either be wearing ourselves out, we can be causing ourselves to be disempowered, or we can be lifting ourselves up by having a greater education, an authentic form of education.
Yeah, and you have to understand is that this comes outside of teachers. It comes outside of anyone as far as a mentor or a guide or a coach, because this is your most intimate and most personal way to be able to receive information and to be able to speak information in a new way.
That makes sense to me. Now, when we're talking about authenticated education, you say it's not about teachers. I think you're saying that because it's a lot about how we receive lessons from teachers.
There's a difference between receiving a lesson from a teacher and actually being able to see the teacher being the mentor of what they're actually talking about. Because a lot of teachers, a lot of mentors, a lot of coaches talk a good game. But
right.
When it comes to their own personal walk, and especially with Christ, is that it falls short of its glory. And so when we're talking about authenticated information, when we're talking about how to be able to teach, train, motivate, direct, and guide someone, it's those 5 factors wrapped up into one type of a principle, one type of teaching. And that's why Jesus was so good at being the authenticated teacher he was.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me too, because, we can't learn something from someone who doesn't actually know the information. We can receive different facts, different statistics from people, but unless they're actually applying something to their lives, they cannot authentically teach you this information. It's more of just getting it and putting it out to the world, but not doing anything with it.
Right. So what you're trying to say, Noah, is that anyone can be able to receive information and then just give it to someone else. It's a different thing altogether to be able to live the actual information that you're trying to be able to give to another human being. So when I was going through my grade school and my high school and then on to college, is that many teachers would talk a great talk, but then when you see them outside of the classroom and in the real world, they were less than honorable people almost all the time.
Yeah, so the education we're talking about mostly on this podcast is the education of things that will change our lives in a positive way, that it will actually cause us to make different actions in our life that are more successful, that bring more success, that bring more positivity, and that bring more nourishment.
Yeah, and most importantly is that it's something that's all natural. It's something that you don't have to be able to study, you don't have to be able to research, you don't have to be able to do this crash course in. It's something that comes absolutely natural, because when you actually know what you're talking about, everyone can be able to sense it, see it, and believe it without you needing to be able to do anything else other than just being able to be the information source that other people can be able to refer to.
Yeah, a big aspect of authentic teachers is that they are able to present the information in a way that's not boring. Mm-hmm. Like I was talking about earlier, if you're just receiving something and putting it out to the world as information, but you're not really applying it to your life, you're not really capturing the interest of the people you're teaching.
Correct.
So you need to know the information and apply the information to really have any sort of, any sort of motivation, any inspiration.
Absolutely, because without it, it's just general bland information, but
Right.
it's how you present it that makes it educational,
Right.
not just informative.
Right. And the people who are learning, they're spending their time to learn this information. They should be able to also receive it in a way that they're going to be able to retain it. And you can't really retain information unless you're having some emotional attachment to it, unless you have an emotional reaction to it, at least in a small, way.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Noah, have you been to college?
I went to one semester of college at UW Eau Claire.
Right. Most college children or students, however you want to look at them,
There's both.
they can put a recorder in a room and then leave and then come get the recorder later.
Right.
And the reason why that's designed and built that way is because there has been too many teachings inauthenticated that students don't believe in it. Don't believe in the course. They don't believe in the person that's actually speaking.
Yes.
You never go to a seminar, rally, or function and literally just put the recorder down and walk away after you spent hundreds of dollars, right? Now, you have to understand, in college, people spend thousands upon thousands of dollars each and every day, but because the information is not actually being portrayed in a new way like how Noah and I teach you, it becomes so stale, it becomes so boring and so repetitious that the students themselves don't even recognize or realize on how unauthentic it is. It's just boring. And why would you want to attend another lecture? No one wants to be lectured. Everyone wants to be taught, right?
That's right.
And so our educational system needs to be able to get up with the times with authenticated teaching, authenticated actually living and being. We used to be able to look up to our mentors. We used to look up to our elders. Anymore nowadays, unless they are actually setting the right example, we don't do that anymore. We don't actually even listen to our grandparents because we don't value their lessons, right? So in order to be able to change things in a new way, we have to be able to teach you, to be able to train you, to be able to motivate you, to be able to direct you, and to be able to guide you in a new way to be able to bring that back.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm very honored to be doing this podcast with you, because we're not just presenting information. We learn this information, we've applied it to our lives. It's something that, as Master Certified Life Coaches, we have the ability to now impart to other people in a way that's effective in their lives and sort of walk you through it step by step, every step of the way. So when we're giving these lessons, when we're giving these teachings, when we're presenting this information on the podcast, it's not just to, regurgitate some information. It's to actually change lives. And we want to hear if there's anything that has changed your life that we've said to you, that you've researched in the additional links in our description boxes, then let us know, because we love hearing that. We love hearing about how what we've said has changed your life in any way, or anyone else that you've presented the information to, because it is a pay it forward program, this podcast.
And you have to understand is that the difference between other podcasts, other videos, and other people is that we put God first. We put his information first, and we also be able to put his principles first, right? But more importantly than that is that we put you on the right pathway from the very start so that you can be able to develop and to be able to design your own learning system, your own way of being able to do it, but in a new way that's exciting, refreshing, and it's actually something rewarding to be able to speak to other people about, because when you learn the information, when the information becomes you, you become so much greater of a person that you become an asset. You become someone of value and someone of worth and someone of great stature, not only to your family, but other people that you surround yourself with. And so again, this whole entire circle is that who you associate with, who you become, is an honest truth. And so you need to be able to, with this information, to be able to get with those people of like minds, to be able to talk to you, to be able to talk it out, to be able to discuss it. And that's why we have on our forums in anewway.com brilliant, magnificent forms to where we can be able to allow you to be able to have your own voice, to be able to have your own input, and most importantly is to be able to share your knowledge with other people too, so that it becomes a family unit. It becomes a family organized information system that works for a lot of people, and a lot of people have been resonating with it quite well.
Yes, and we love bringing the information not only from science, not only from spirituality, but any area that's going to benefit people's lives by hearing. And it's all connected. It's all very connected. It's all about empowerment. It's all about soul enrichment, So Jesus Christ himself said that when we know the truth will set us free.
Absolutely.
It'll set you free in multiple ways. It'll set you free to be yourself, set you free to send the right message to your family, to your friends, to your loved ones. Mm-hmm. It'll set you free to be the educator of that truth, to then set others free. And that's what, this whole Pay It Forward program is all about.
Yep. Becoming the inspiration director of your own life is very important, because you can be able to listen to some of the greatest motivational speakers in the world, Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, that sort of thing. But here's what ends up happening is that you know that you can be able to instantly turn them off. But here's what happens in reality is that when you turn off a powerful source, you're also turning it off within you. You need to always, no matter who it is that you admire, no matter who it is that inspires you, no matter who it is that talks a great talk, they also need to be able to walk that same walk, right? And so Jesus, and this is going right back to square one, set that example for us. And it was a non-threatening way of being able to do it. Jesus is a teacher that keeps on teaching. He's better than ever ready battery, because he's always got the Allspark. He's always got not only the starting line, but the finish line already in view. He knows that when he speaks that he's actually putting forth your footsteps, so that all you have to do is to be able to make that footstep a possibility by believing, trusting, and have faith in the Word of God.
I love that. So 2 other Bible verses I want to present here, or Bible teachings rather, that I want to present here, have a lot to do with that. It has a lot to do with, being able to learn from the people who are walking the talk, people like Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Because when you learn from people like that, it is given to you in a different way. You consume it in a different way. It's more empowering. It's more emotional. So the Bible in Ecclesiastes 12:12 says that of making many books there is no end, and much study wearies the body. So that shows, just information in general, just getting information, like I was doing in college, was often very boring to me, and I didn't retain any of it. And I then thus did not so well in my classes. Well, others more than other classes, but I didn't do well in some of the classes that I was actually very passionate about the topic being talked about. I wanted to get into journalism, but my communications class, I ended up getting a C in because I was not enjoying the lectures. I didn't enjoy the professor. Now, politics was something that I was not interested in at all going into college.
Right.
And the professor there had amazing stories, had amazing insights into his just personal viewpoint of politics, and that emotional aspect of his life that was injected then got me very, very much interested in politics. And, there's several different stories I could tell you in my college years, but moving on to the next Bible teaching is that it says in 2 Timothy 3:7, always learning and never being able to come to the knowledge of truth is what many people do. And I believe that many people are always learning and never coming to the knowledge of the truth because they're not receiving it from a truthful and authentic source like Jesus Christ, like people who are walking the talk.
But more importantly is that they're not putting the elements of the education to use. It's all boring, dry, just mundane information. And I need to be able to learn it just to be able to pass a class.
Pass a test, yep.
But what if you looked at it in a new way? What if that the very information you're about ready to learn is going to put you into a position to be able to save a life?
Right.
To be able to help someone else out that desperately needed that information.
Yeah, and that's a lot about perspective. We in this first world country, USA, we have a lot of opportunities that many people overseas do not have.
Right.
Many people, even in this country, don't have these opportunities because they don't have the money to pay for authentic education.
Yep.
Now, what we have learned is that there are multiple sources that you can pull from, and the main source to be able to uplift yourself and get into a walking, talking, truthful state is to read the Bible and apply it to your life. Because any subject you can possibly think about, you can find something that applies to that in Scripture.
Right. But let's not go one-sided.
Right.
Let's look at the bigger picture. Why is there a thing called a dictionary? Why is there a thing called a thesaurus? Why is it that there has been throughout centuries multiple different languages?
You tell me.
The reason that we have all of these authenticated sources is so that we can be able to communicate effectively with all people of all nations around the world simultaneously, but in a new way. And that's by learning their language, to be able to learn their habits, to be able to learn their traditions, to be able to learn their lifestyles and how they were raised and brought up, so that when we present this information in a new way, it comforts them, it inspires them, it motivates them, self-directed, without us being able to use fancy words to be able to do so. That's authenticated information. Information that is so comfortable, like the greatest pillow that you've ever laid on, right? It literally, I have to be able to put it in picture form, because you've obviously have slept on a pillow that wasn't quite pleasant, right?
Okay, yeah.
And you have to be able to constantly move it around and shift it around in order for you to be able to feel comfortable, right?
Right. So when you're talking about reception of education, when you lay your head down on that education pillow, you want to just sink right in, settle the first time.
Right. And so when you get restless on an educational level, so does your soul. And it then prohibits you, it stops you, it postpones you, because you have all these pauses, because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't click. It doesn't make sense. Things become complicated. Things become difficult. And you can be able to add whatever negativity word you can be able to put into it. But authenticated information is like literally a breath of fresh air, like being able to feel the mist from the ocean being able to hit your face, and to be able to feel the sun hitting your face all at the same time. It's like a aha moment almost.
And we talked about aha moments on the Allspark episode of the OIC podcast. That is a powerful episode. You should go listen to that. We'll have that in the description for your convenience.
Down below with other links.
Yeah. So, anyways, our website is www.inanewway.com. If you want to connect with whatever subject you're looking for, we most likely already have a podcast up on something that's going to interest you, something that's going to capture your interest and be able to be applied to your life today.
Yeah, or these video series for which we do as well. And you have to understand, listeners, that we do both simultaneously, so that when we put up a video, we also have a podcast as well, because we understand that not everyone can be able to resonate in the same way or have that kind of time to be able to either watch a video or to be able to listen to a podcast. Our compliment to you always is being able to have both services provided simultaneously, and it's really resonated well with a lot of people.
Yeah, so we have a link in the description of this video to where you can find where you can download all of the audio files of each one of our podcasts.
Absolutely.
Including videos. So I just want to keep this to a shorter podcast today, if that's all right with you, Kevin. I think that we've covered pretty much everything we need to cover as far as authentic education.
As far as authenticated itself, when you're talking about the word authenticated, some people don't know.
Okay.
Right?
All right, let's clarify.
And so the definition of authentication is the process of recognizing a user's identity. It is the mechanism of associating an incoming request with a set of identifying credentials, right? The credential often takes the form of a password, which is a secret and known only to the individual in the system. Now, the reason why it's authenticated, because with a secret and a password, is that you have your own password and you have your own secrets, right? It's called knowledge. It's called a brain. And you utilize locking and unlocking your brain by receiving authenticated information. When it's truthful, when it's accurate, and when it is undisputed, there is a different resonating feeling altogether in receiving it. So unlike a commercial that can convince you to be able to buy a product, authenticated information is presented whether you want to be able to buy that product or not. It is just what it is for what it is, and that makes it non-threatening. It makes it really enjoyable to be able to hear. And oftentimes, people want that type of information the first time around, but they may not have the program or the plan or the idea on how to be able to manifest it. The beautiful thing about that is that we have courses available in a new way, learning series, to where we can be able to teach you on how to be able to not only to be able to speak, not only to be able to act and react, but to be able to then enhance your life in every way in the manner that you see fit today.
That's great. Thank you for announcing the learning series. We actually have a separate page on our website just for those courses, and we've got just the first one up on that website. If you want to see more, then you can reach out to us at oicadvantage@inanewway.com.
Absolutely. And then finally is that if you really resonate with our channel, and if you really resonate with what we do, we have one of the most inspiring and powerful kind of a program available that is like no other, and that is our merchandise. We have merchandise that has some of the most beautiful sayings on it that you would ever want to be able to have on a t-shirt, a ball cap, on a face mask, or anything that you desire. All you have to do is be able to go to our website and check it out and be able to decide which items that you want to be able to purchase today. With that being said, is that you're going to say, Pastor, I see that the prices are a little higher than normal. The reason why we have the prices set at the way that we do is because it's a pay-it-forward program. We have a program that is designed and designated to be able to help our community, to be able to help those people in need. And so by being able to contribute to our webpage, to be able to contribute to our channel, is that we have a pay-it-forward program that we can be able to help less fortunate families in the community and other areas to be able to have the financial stability, to be able to have some kind of a financial growth in their life, and so that they can be able to grow along with us. And so it's a family first type of a donation type system. And if you'd like to be able to just leave us a donation, we have PayPal, we've got Venmo, we've got all these different other platforms that you can be able to utilize to be able to contribute in a manner that suits you. So if the merchandise isn't that important, but you like what we do and like to be able to allow to be able to see these videos and these podcasts to be able to continue, is that you can be able to contribute in that manner. Every dime helps, as you know, but more importantly is that we have 100% proof that we can be able to pay it forward. All you have to do is be able to reach out today at inanewway.com or OIC Advantage at inanewway.com, and we look forward to being able to hear from you there.
All right, so yeah, the donations, the funds that you give us, that you share with us, aren't going towards our groceries. Right. Is basically what we're trying to say. So now, before we go, I just want to make this sort of announcement. We are, as a few Master Certified Life Coaches, we are new to the video platform. We've been doing podcasts for over a year now, but we are new to the video platform. So if there's anything that you would like to see more of, that you would like to see less of, or that you would like to see included in these videos, then reach out to us at oicadvantage@inanewway.com, or you can contact us right on our website and give us some tips, give us some information. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, and allow us to resonate more with you on these videos or on the podcast as well.
Yeah, and understand is that we've got one-on-one coaching available, so that if there's a particular topic that isn't on the website, isn't something that we've put into a podcast or on a video that you'd like to be able to know more of, we'd be honored to be able to share with you authenticated links that come from people from around the world to be able to help make you who you need to be or want to be today, right? And so that's one of the most important aspects or elements of our business, is being able to always teach, train, motivate, direct, and guide you in a new way starting today.
Yes, the OIC podcast is all about authenticated education. We're all about authenticity in every area of your life to be able to be the person for other people that lifts people up, that lifts yourself up, that allows you to resonate and allows you to consume from the right sources, to gain the right information from the right sources the first time around.
So crush that like button. Make sure that you're liking and sharing it. And please click the bell icon and to be able to subscribe to us today, because every subscription helps in being able to get the word out, to be able to get the message out, to be able to bring you the most authenticated, resonating, and informative information that one could be able to receive today.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the OIC podcast. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye for now.